We love Alli. And her speech doesn't really suck. She's just kind of like, I'm a bad friend. I'm kind of a bad dancer. I'm a really bad club founder.
She's like, but I wanted to do something. So if you want to join me, why not? And then like Claire, Dave, and Wesley like go up and help her. And other people go up and dance with her. And everyone loves it.
For some reason.
And some chick in the audience has a vuvuzela. And I'm confused by that.
I don't. Well, this was like...
That is true. Like,
this
World
was that
Cup
summer.
2010. That's
yeah.
definitely that summer.
That was that summer. But yeah, they are good friends. Can I just say that this would not fly at my high school? Like, there would not be that kind of support for the weird girl dancing alone.
No. I don't think that would happen at any school.
That would have been social suicide.
High schoolers are cruel.
That would have been social suicide.
That would not have been good.
No.
And then we find out that Riley has a 5-game suspension, and that's kind of the end.
Yeah, and he gives Drew some water, and he's like, hydrate. And Drew's like, sorry about what happened. And Riley's like, no, you're not. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then he like goes to play. And then he's talking to Zane, and Zane's like, you should be out there. And he's like, I will be. And he's like, well, he's...
all of me will be out there one day. Or like
yeah, it's sweet. Because Zane's like, at least football, you should be out there. And he's like, hopefully all of me can be out there sometime soon. And it's very sweet.
It is cute.
Oh, I just want good things for Riley and Zane.
I just want their love to be out in the open and accepted and be beautiful.
Right? That's all I want.
But that's the end of the episode. So, like we said last time, we're not doing YouTube comments anymore because there's just too many spoilers in there now.
Yeah, it's kind of ruining.
But Spirit Squad captain of the episode.
I'm going Riley.
Riley, I guess, yeah.
With a second to Claire?
Claire, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about Casey and Jenna.
No, I will never care about Casey and Jenna.
Ship is obviously Riley and Zane.
Duh, forever.
Moral. Don't fucking blackmail people, emotionally or otherwise.
Seriously.
Be okay with yourself, Riley. Don't steal your boyfriend's phone and snoop. I don't know.
I have nothing for Alli.
Alli.
Get it together.
Don't try to manipulate people into, like, boosting your social status.
That's a very specific moral. It's, like, super Alli specific.
You have to work hard to make friends, and it has to be, like, a two-way deal.
It has to be authentic.
Yeah. All right. Grapevine. I know we have 2 emails. The first one is from Brianna, and it says Brianna, I don't know how you pronounce it. And then this says, yes, Queens, because you both live in Brooklyn, and since many of your listeners refer to you as Queens, this automatically makes me think of Broad City, which is another show I love, but not nearly as much as my longstanding love for Degrassi. I tend to listen to a lot of crime podcasts such as Serial, Breakdown, and Sword and Scale, to name a few. Back in July of this year, I was looking for something lighter to listen to during my commute to work and on runs, as crime podcasts on runs can be a bit spooky.
I second that.
I came across your podcast and have been binging ever since, though I must say I apparently have been listening at a much slower rate than your other listeners, as I just started on Season 8, Episode 1 this morning. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm fortunate enough that I'm close to work, so I'll blame it on minimal time in the car, with the fact that it's still 90 degrees. And finally nice enough to run only at night. That sounds like a nightmare. I would never, no offense, but I would never want to live in Arizona. It's hot there all the time.
Holland has problems with the heat.
No,
she's more of a cold weather lady.
90 degrees in November? Are you fucking kidding me?
See, that does not sound like the worst.
Bye as fuck. In any case, I just wanted to write in and say how much I really enjoy your podcast. I force my husband to listen occasionally to the episodes when you have men co-hosting. He can really relate to how they have no connection to the characters, unlike the two of you and myself, who are emotionally invested in their lives as if they are real people. I think Sean is pretty invested, though.
Sean is super invested. Sean will send me updates about his Degrassi watching.
My background with Degrassi is probably the same as many of your other listeners. Found this show on the end, got obsessed, end of story. I was obsessed with Craig, Sean, and later in the series, JT as far as hotness goes, and fell off the same times as both you in regards to starting college, etc. One thing I never understood about the original Next Generation cast is how they all dated each other. Yes, I realize this is par for the course with most sitcoms, especially the teen drama, but for the most part, Degrassi was more real on actual issues, so I always wish there was more drama around dating your friends' friends, because at least at my school, there were way more fights because of that. I'm trying to think. I know my friend group was very incestuous in, like, the terms of, like, everybody dated everybody.
Mine too.
But I don't really remember it being too dramatic. Or if it was only dramatic for, like, 5 seconds and then people got over it because it was just so par for the course.
Pretty much, yeah.
But I don't know. I did want to share something that admittedly I tried selling on eBay, but there were no takers. Back in my freshman year of high school, which would have been in 2005, go class of 2009, I wrote in to the director of Degrassi asking for advice for an aspiring youngin who wanted to get into the film industry. Sad to report, I'm in advertising, #sellout. Nevertheless, he replied with a 10-page handwritten letter about following my dreams, which my mom still has, otherwise I would send pictures. He also included 2 autographed photos of the cast from season 4, I believe. I really thought it might have been worth something since Drake signed it, Aubrey Graham, but no bidders. Why would you sell that, though? Like, I would keep that forever.
Treasure it. Like, frame it, hang it up. Send it to us.
She sent photos of it to us, and it's amazing. All in all, I wanted to reach out and say I love what you guys do, and will stick with you both through next class. Admittedly, I haven't been rewatching it because I did originally, but I will need to start because there are names of people that you're saying now, and I have no idea what they look like, i.e. Bruce the Moose. P.S. I really relate to Holland. I had to tell you that. I was the girl that planned when my friend's parents were out of town, and both her and I got drunk together before I started college because I was that big of a nerd and didn't want to start Arizona State University, huge party school, without knowing what that was like. Also, stories about going to all the school dances I can relate to as well. Arizona has a large Mormon population, and though I wasn't Mormon, I had friends that were and got dragged along to their Friday night dances at church. Amazing. My town actually had a really large Mormon population too, but they all only hung out with each other because they were only, like, allowed to date each other. So I was never in that kind of crowd. But I did have friends who went to ASU though, so cool. But that's it. Thank you. And she sent us photos of the autographs, and I'm in love with them. But thanks for that, Brianna.
I love it. Thank you. And I think Arizona sounds great. So, I don't know. Holland has an aversion to heat, like, in general.
Why would you want to be sweating? Ever?
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We have an email from Catherine. Okay. It's so much love plus Toronto tidbits. Sorry.
Some weird throat noises.
Weird throat thing happening. All right. Gross. Anyway. Hey, Queens. I found your podcast a few months ago during a Degrassi rewatch, powered through your reps to catch up as soon as possible, which happened much quicker than I liked. I'm really enjoying and loving hearing your experiences with the show and your life experiences. I'm going through your season 6 and 7 episodes again, crying hard during that god-awful show opening. As a native...
They're the best!
It's so good. As a native Torontonian, I think I'm getting that right. All right. I have a few fun notes about some things that happened in your episodes that you were unsure of or just tidbits you might be unaware of. I'm so excited.
Hashtag maybe it's different.
Hashtag maybe it's different. Oh my God, that's our t-shirt, by the way. Hashtag maybe it's different. Club Zanzibar, where Alex started working in season 6, Don't You Want Me, is a real bar/nightclub in Toronto that has been around since the 60s and is still open.
Oh my God.
We need to go to Club Zanzibar.
No.
Toronto has a very large public transit system with buses, streetcars, and subways, which you mentioned being unaware of when Paige was looking for a place on the subway line in season 6. In the season 8 episodes Lost in Love, the very weird accent you hear from the symposium registrar is Scottish. I only know this as the actor went to my high school and we had a band together.
Oh my God.
That's so cool. Okay. All the universities that appear in the show are based on universities in Toronto. Toronto U is the University of Toronto, Smithdale is York University, and Banting is Queen's University, which is in Kingston, Ontario. I did not know any of that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Degrassi Takes Manhattan was a super enjoyable episode for me, as are most of them. I really love when you have Cody Keplinger on as a guest. As it was supposed to be in Manhattan, you two were in familiar territory. All the anecdotes and actual information was helpful and enjoyable. The obvious unenjoyable factor was the wedding. Agreed. Don't even get me started. I can't wait for you two to get started with season 10 and introduced to some of my favorite characters like Adam, Bianca, and Eli, and some interesting storylines. We're pretty excited. I do hope you can get a trip to Toronto in. I recommend late spring or early summer. The city's vibrant and you can cross some Degrassi landmarks off your map. Degrassi Street itself is a very small residential street in Riverdale, as you mentioned wanting to go visit it. I'm telling you, we're gonna do a Toronto trip. It's gonna be heavily Instagrammed. Maybe next summer
or early spring. I hear it's lovely.
I'm ready. Thank you so much for the podcast and putting out 2 episodes a week. You both have very lovely voices that are pleasant to listen to. Thank you. Thanks. I'm really hoping Holland cut out the part where I couldn't clear my throat for 45 minutes. I'll leave you off with a question. If you could make a Degrassi band, which characters would you pick and what style of music would they play? Much love from the North, Catherine. P.S. You said goodbye to Janie and the Studs featuring Peter Stone. It's the best band name. Too soon, as the guitar opening from Hey California is here until the season 14 finale.
Why?
Fuck everything. Janie and the Studs featuring Peter Stone.
It's bad.
It's bad. All right, so who would you make a Degrassi band with?
Craig.
Obviously. Paige.
Spinner.
Yeah.
He could be drums.
He can be drums. I think that's all I'd want.
Oh my god. Just Paige, Spinner, and Craig.
Yeah.
Band.
Yeah.
That would be kind of like just like Craig on guitar and like Paige on bass, Spinner on drums, and Craig and Paige can like both be singers.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah. That's all I want, you guys. That's all I want. I just want that trio.
What would their name be?
Ooh. I need to think.
PCS? Because it's just all of their initials.
I mean...
Or it could still be PMS and it's like Craig, like it's like Paige Manning Spinner.
I mean, yeah, I think just keep it the classic PMS is great.
Or Paige Michael Chuck and the Sex Kittens. Spinner and Craig are
Oh my god, that's even better. I'm so here for that. All right, that's it. It's decided. Paige Michael Chuck.
PMS with Paige, Craig, and Spinner.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I love it. I'm very excited. What kind of music would they play? Not reggae.
Not reggae.
I think that they would have like a cool like pop punk vibe.
Like alternative rocky, but maybe with more poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like a fun pop punk Zoloft the Rock and Roll Destroyer type of band.
There you go. Cool.
Into
it.
You guys, listen to Zoloft the Rock and Roll Destroyer. I don't think they exist anymore, but they were good.
All right, that's all we have for Grapevine today. If you would like to be featured on our Grapevine segment, you can tweet at us at DegrassiPod or on Instagram at DegrassiPod. You can email us at whateverittakespodcast@gmail.com. We're on Tumblr, whateverittakespodcast.tumblr.com. You can listen to us pretty much anywhere, but if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you could rate, review, and subscribe, that would be super cool. And if you leave us a review, we will make up a Degrassi-inspired fan fiction for you on the show. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at HollandTacular.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at KelSucks with a Z at the end. And Holland, what do you want to recommend?
I don't know if I have recommended this podcast before, but I just kind of started re-listening to it. But it's called Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, and she interviews a lot of cool people. So I'm going to do that.
I think she had Alli Ward on it recently, who I love.
Cool.
I'm also recommending a podcast. It's called Young Charlie by Hollywood and Crime. It's about Charles Manson, so it's obviously directly in my wheelhouse.
Perfect. Isn't he like really sick right now?
He is. He's like on death's door.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Interesting.
Here's my thing with Charles Manson. I have like a deep fascination for him, and I'm very interested in everything Manson related. But also, I know he's a garbage person, and I'm like very open to him dying. I'm not going to be like sad about it. I need to make that clarification that just because you're interested in a thing doesn't mean you approve of the thing.
There you go. And on that note,
Just
that's all we have for today.
just a little ending there for you.
Thank you, as always, to Jay for our wonderful theme song. And thank all of you